Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and it is February 12th, YC128. We have no news about the presidency. We are done with the last patch. We've got more to come, but we don't know much about it, so let's go have some fun. This is the Eve Universe Show. Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Settle on in, guys. How's it going? Only in Zarzak do I not see my ships in hangar. It's weird because, like, so I was going through... Look, yesterday's patch, we did go through it all. There has been a lot of, like, consternation about it. Honestly, the more I think about it, the more I realize that, like, overall, this patch has been fine. There was some funny mistakes, but a lot of those mistakes got corrected really early. A lot of things like complaining about this color. This is fine. Like, I think overall it's mostly fine. I think that honestly the biggest problem is the fact that they never actually had a dedicated feedback thread and known issues thread. The issue is that they keep using the same known issue thread as with Catalyst's release. They just pointed everybody back to there, and they didn't actually update that stuff. So as everyone is sitting there chittering about, like, oh, this is a problem, there's news coming up all over the place, people are talking about it on Reddit, people are talking about it here and there. Like, there was no official information from CCP to let people know, like, these are the things that we're acknowledging, these are the things that we're working on. There were some acknowledgments from CCP, like CCP Swift, but they were in things like Reddit threads, or even deeper in that one thread. So, like, I think that the real lesson from yesterday is that every major patch needs to have its own dedicated thread to keep track of, like, its feedback and its bugs. Continuing to push everybody to the same mega thread for the expansion, now that we are several months into the expansion, I feel only helped cause more chaos. In fact, I would argue that that was the biggest of all of the problems of yesterday. That was the biggest one. But either way, that is not why we're here today, because this week was Exploration Week, and a few days ago we yeeted out with my Odysseus, and it's just to show people how cool yeet exploration was. And it was brought up like, hey, you know, maybe you should do this as an alpha, so that way people can, like, you can see the real difficulty as an alpha. Because as an alpha, one of the biggest concerns as a hacker is the fact that you don't actually have the skills for a T2 hacking module. So while you can get to nullsec, red cans become very, very challenging. So I wanted to take on this challenge as a way of being like, okay, that's fine. Because the point is that even if you lose a few cans, if you go back to that stream and notice, the best cans, almost none of them were red cans. And even red cans can be beaten as long as you're not, like, super unlucky. So it's a numbers game. You are potentially going to lose some, but I think that we're going to be able to make quite a bit of money still. The other problem is that, well, the other thing I learned from that run was that rogue drone space, drone lands, is actually really good for exploration right now. They've added new exploration sites to it. They've already had their own unique exploration sites because of the way that you get drone goo in, I think it was data sites. It made it so that data sites and relic sites were both very valuable to raid. And so I'm actually interested in doing more exploration specifically in the drone lands. You know, it's good enough for me to be like, hey guys, for, you know, 5-10 million ISK, you can go have an adventure, right? Go grab your T1 hot hacker and these filaments and go out and you can have your adventure. But the problem with that, I guess, arguably, or the thing about that is that, you know, the whole point is that it's totally random. You know, anything could happen. It could go well, it could go badly. It's an adventure. That's the whole point, right? But I hear you guys. Some of you guys don't want a whole bunch of random. You're a newer player. You don't want a random adventure. You want to make your fortune. So I want to add a little bit, try to see if this technique is going to add a little bit more consistency, if not a little bit more excitement to my strategy. So today we are going to challenge ourselves to make it all the way to drone lands, and then do exploration there until we make a certain amount. I don't know. What should we do? Should we do... I was going to think just 50 million as a way of being like, haha, I made it, and then get back. We could do 100 million, I guess. Maybe we'll see when we get there. Right now, I'm going to put my target goal at 50 million, right? So the task, the base task is go to drone lands, make 50 million ISK, and make it home. Without using filaments, without using cloaks, without using T2 hackers. If I can do this, I'm going to be doing it with a character that you could make a brand new character today with that buddy code down below. And you could just do the basic tutorial or even skip the basic tutorial. I even considered making a brand new character for this, but I mean, I have Kato Ash for this purpose explicitly. So you can get your million free skill points. You can allocate them into your hacking and scanning and stuff and be out the door immediately. One of the biggest problems with Yeet exploration is getting home, right? The filament to get to Pochfin is not very expensive, but the filament to get out of Pochfin, let's see, just to put it into a perspective, extraction. So these extraction filaments are, actually it's not that much, but 3.5 million, which doesn't seem like much, but is arguably the most expensive thing in the fit, right? Because the fit I'm using is the Air Caldari Explorer fit, which is 1.5 million ISK. It is very, very basic. I actually, if anything, I might have problems scanning things down, but I think the gravitor capacity, I think I should be able to do it with all this extra stuff. You know, obviously, if I wanted to, the number one thing that I would upgrade for this would be, I would actually go show info, used with. If I switch to sister core probes, I could get 8 of them for 4 million, and that would help my scanning quite a bit. Or I could get that, like I said, that filament for about 4 million to get home. But I don't want to do all that. I just want a million. I want to take my 1.5 million ISK Heron, and I want to make my fortune. So what is the strategy? How am I going to get to... Why do I think I can get to drone lands so easily? Well... And this is why I really wanted to do this video and this challenge, because it's one of those things that, like, strip everything away except for my knowledge, right? The only difference between me and you right now, if you don't know what I'm going to suggest, is knowing the mechanics of the game. You know, we both could have this same ship, etc., etc. We're not using any filaments. We're not using any filaments. But we are using Pochfin. I've been trying to kind of be a little bit quiet about this because I'm pretty sure, like, this is going to be something that's really easy to interrupt if I'm going to be in a ship with no cloak or anything. But we are going to use Pochfin. How are we going to use Pochfin without filaments, you might ask? And why are we using Pochfin without like this? Well, so Pochfin is a very interesting, has some very interesting rules that governs how it works. There are more or less, I think it's 3. Yeah, there's 3 different kinds of wormholes in Pochfin. Now, all wormholes going into Pochfin are inbound, right? Not outbound. So they come from the other area of space, and inside of Pochfin, they just have the K162. So you're kind of reliant on other people opening those sites or those wormholes. But there's 3 basic ones. There's the ones that go to Empire space, and those are always going to be connected to a system within a certain number of jumps of the system that you are in Pochfin, right? That's how we get into and out of Pochfin sometimes when it comes to, like, Vale or some other places, or when you scan out a wormhole, you'll always, in Empire space, you'll end up within a few jumps of the wormhole that you are, or the Pochfin system you're in. This is why Pochfin is such a great highway or whatever, right? Because each system is radically different in where they're located. The second time a wormhole, it goes to sleeper space. Sorry, the Empire one you can tell because when the Empire one is open, Empire rats are in system. Empire sites spawn, and the wormhole itself is surrounded by Empire rats, eating comrades, specific. You know, it's whatever. The second one is to wormhole space. If it goes to certain wormhole systems or, you know, whatever, and anytime it's connected to wormhole space, there's sleepers and drifters. There's sleeper and drifter sites. There's sleeper and drifter on the wormhole. They roam around, etc., etc. That's how they get there. The third type of wormhole is in into nullsec, but not any nullsec. It is my understanding that the wormholes in Pochfin to nullsec is always specifically to drone lands. So here's our secret. If I know it, all I need to do is find a wormhole into Pochfin, navigate through Pochfin until I find some evidence of rogue drone connection, scan that system down, find the hole to wormholes, find the wormhole to the nullsec, go through there, and now not only am I in drone space, but I actually have a path that, I mean, you know, wormholes do collapse or whatever, but I have a semi-stable path to and from home. I no longer have to worry about filamenting in, filamenting out. I could go drop stuff off, come back, whatever I want to do once that path is established. So you can buy extraction filaments for 1, by the way. Those are Divana filaments, which are significantly less reliable because they go to any Triglavian minor victory, and a lot of those are in low sec, and like using extraction filaments get you where you want to be because you can like decide which system you extract out of. Okay, so let's get started. The nice thing is, like I said, even if everything goes wrong, I've got 1.5 million ISK ship. I can just reship and try it again. That's what I really, really like about this strategy. So we are going to go to the New Eden Common Defense Initiative website, or edencom.com, or sorry, edencom.space. Edencom.space. This is a player-run website that maintains a lot of information about Pochfin, including all of the Pochfin system information. Yeah, this is much more interesting. So if we go into the Kreisfarog, we can find the system Uranichi. Now, Uranichi is special. This is the system that I called Content Pit because of its close proximity to Jita, right? So if we see here, these systems here are the only systems that can connect to Uranichi. And in fact, according to this like report, oh, hold on. According to this thing here, it says that, oh, sorry, if I scroll down, this system is protected, and therefore sites cannot spawn there. So we can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We only have 11 systems to scan in order to find our target wormhole. And the nice thing about this is because we are going in, I don't have to worry about the wormhole being open or not. The fact that I find it is the thing that's going to make it work, right? Okay, great. So let's see how this works. I've got my list of systems. We're going to start getting the scanning. Goodbye. I'm just checking if you guys said anything important. Yes, I could have used, there are filaments to get inside for cheap, but the whole point of this is that when I'm done, like, let's say I wanted to bring in more people, right? What if I find a skyhook? You know, it doesn't matter. What I've learned from is Dronelands right now is a very exciting place to be for a lot of different reasons. And so, you know, building this connection, and again, you can do this with any system in Pochfin. So, you know, it might be a good idea to not go in through Jita. I'm explicitly doing this not as a good idea. Actually, before I keep going, let me make sure. Yeah, my home station is in Jita, so we're good to go. I need to go, oh my gosh, why is my... I need to go to perimeter first. Active. Perimeter being captured would have almost been good for Jita falling to the trigs. I don't think perimeter was allowed to be captured, if I remember correctly. That would have been nuts. Well, actually, no, perimeter couldn't have been captured. Right? It's the wrong star type. Jita, interestingly enough, was the correct star type and is the correct star type. And we should absolutely keep that in mind as we continue to go forward with all of this. As much as CCP doesn't want to mess with Jita, it is absolutely true that like every single time they're like, these stars are special. Jita is one of the special kinds of stars. The correct blue stars, if I remember correctly. Okay, let's see. Man, my overview. Yeah, perimeter star. Actually. No, because this isn't a G5. No. Yeah, this star would not have proceeded. Well, you don't run into any Imperium and drone lands. We're restricted from messing around in there. Well, that's probably good. Even if Cheetah 4-4 doesn't get destroyed, I would love to see him mess it with it for a day or two. I was talking about this to Malak last night. Oops, sorry. Here's an idea. I know it's kind of not, it's not really the same, but it's what I was thinking about. Imagine, this is what's, if I worked for CCP, or if CCP had some balls, this is what they would do. Oh, hold on, actually, we want to go with this one. You push for Niarja, would you have pushed for Jito to fall if it had been invaded? Oh, yeah, just because that would have been so exciting. Like, for a totally different reason than why I pushed for Niarja to be destroyed. Or, not destroyed, but to be taken. Like, Jita falling would have been the most impactful thing anyone could have possibly done in the history of the game. Like, of course I would have gone for that. Alright, so let's start scanning. There's nothing here. Got it. Okay. That was easy. I need to go to Yurlin. I'm gonna... Can I change order? Move name up. There we go. Whew. Oh, you can't even see. I'm sorry. I do not put the gutter up. By the way, this is just a thing, like, recommendation for streamers or whatever. I have this gutter here, not necessarily to protect where I'm at. Give that up completely. Like, I mean, if people want to, they can use locator agents. People that, like, blur their stuff just makes me want to hunt them more. But I have this gutter here so that way I can keep things like chats over there. So that way I'm not, like, outing people. I have a little bit of place to... I do recommend it. I have a special cutout image that I've made that you guys, if you need it, you can message me. Okay, so here's my thought. On April Fools, so on April 1st, CCP should announce that they are starting EVE Season 2. That this has been exciting and everything, but for the sake of everyone, they are restarting the server and put up a blank database. So that way everybody, when you log in, you're first prompted to make a new character and everybody has to start over from nothing. But it still plays out. It's like right now, it's this current patch, but all of the character data, all of the stuff that you have, everything that's been built up is gone. And then just play that for a day. And the whole day, CCP can just pretend like this is absolutely happening, absolutely a real thing, you know, whatever. Hell, keep it up for more than just April 1st. It'd be awesome to see it happen for a month. Like, make it so that the entire EVE Online, like, is as we know it now is gone, and then everybody has to quote unquote start over, and then when it's done you can just swap it back to the main database and we can all resume our wars and everything as if nothing had ever happened. But I think that would be so funny to be like, oh yeah, so yeah, you guys wanted EVE 2.0, so here you go, here it is, we've decided that this would be best. That would be so that would be the most fucking epic April Fool's Day joke that any MMO has ever done. And it'd be extra impactful if EVE did it. I think a week tops. I kind of wanted to see, like in my head... Look, in my head, the dream is like a month, right? Just to see, like, where everybody could get in a month and then get back. But, like, that's also a really long time to quote-unquote pause the main singularity, or the main tranquility, you know, instance, as it were. But it is an interesting question, where it's like, we've promised, or we've put so much on the fact that we have, you know, this is single sharded universe, but also, like, this single sharded universe is so encrusted and entrenched in where it is. I wonder if they made a new server, like a server 2, how much would that like bleed people from this server, and how much would it get people to try out the game and get into the game that aren't, because they've just accepted the fact that the order of power in this universe is already established, right? We got a wormhole, guys. Now, the first thing to find out is if the Trigs still hate me. And I could look this up on my character sheet, but I think it'd be way funnier to just show up. Eve Frontiers, Eve 2. No, yes, I get that. But my point is that, like, what if they just opened up a second shard of this universe? I wonder what would happen. I really do. I really, really wonder how that would impact things. Like, would they end up with a higher player count total? I'm almost sure that they would end up with a higher player count total. But would they lose something special, right? Because, like, the reason why there's a history book, 2 history books written about Eve is because it has one story, and this is the story. So as soon as there's multiple servers, then you have multiple stories, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, like, it would be crazy. Like, there's a part of me that's like, what if it gets flooded by people because there's so many people that are interested in this game but don't want to join the established order? How many people think that, like, Eve as it is socially, politically, is a solved game, right? I don't know. You might see a bunch of high-sec players leave and try to claim some null-sec. Yeah, exactly. It's like, seek your ambition, you know? I don't know. Do I think it's a good idea? I won't say I think it's a good idea. I just think it's an interesting idea, for the record. If they did another Shard of Tranquility, they would do another galaxy with new stars and new empires. You could theoretically seed it again. Serenity started out that way. Yeah, but I mean, like, let everybody opt into it. Right? Just like abandon the idea of a single sharded universe, and now you've got 2. And you could even keep it for a while. I mean, like, they've done short-lived experiments with, like, singularity with things like when they did the Entosis link tests. Where does this go? C1 to C3 wormhole system. Not right. You can kind of tell when you show up to the correct kind of wormhole because trig wormholes have like the Rakavine growing around it and stuff. That way they could potentially create new connections between the 2 servers. Yeah, I mean, it could be a new region, but I think, I don't know. I think that it would be interesting to just do a clean start. And because the thing is that they have the idea of parallel realities. They could just establish that it's a parallel reality. You could theoretically still allow people to cross over if there was some breach between the parallel realities. Then later the 2 could... Everybody wants everything... Everybody... this is just an always thing. Everybody always wants everything to connect back to the main server when it comes to Eve. All the time. That's the #1 priority. How does this connect to Tranquility? Doesn't matter if it's a shooter. Yeah. The whole point of it would be to create an area of growth and development that is isolated from this established order. And just for the hell of it, they can make it so that oh god, what was it? Was it stacking penalties? There was a thing that they did in the early days to kill nano. Oh, multiple props, right? You used to be able to have multiple props, so that way people would have nano gangs. Hey, look, the heron just went through the wormhole I was at. That's pretty funny. Okay, so this isn't it. So let's go to Sakurin. It would be fun to see, even if they did it for just April Fool's Day, right? Just for one day. And then, like, just see how far everybody gets. Because, like, it would be incredibly difficult for the universe to generate even some cruisers within the first day. Nobody has any blueprints. Nobody has any ISK. Nobody has any ore. Nobody has any minerals. Nobody has any skills. So, like, I don't even think you could build a battle cruiser within the full day, within the first day. Where am I? Okay, there we go. Next. Missile launchers not having any restrictions on size. Hell yeah. I played Eve, mined Veldspar and a Rupture to help make my battleship. The stories from CCP, like, I always recommend people go back to the 10th anniversary FanFest stream or whatever, video, VOD, you know, Hilmar talking about the early days of CCP and him going on leave for his son, or I think it was his son, that was born. And so he went and played Eve and like got involved in a mining group and then lost the thorax, I think it was, or whatever. I can't remember all the details, but it's such a great story. If they did a different reality with a different empire, it would be cool to, a different precursor empire, such as the Yenyung. Okay, you guys are trying to make this into too much work. They can't even keep up with the lore that they have. You want them to have two different lores or two different universes stitched together? We need to shake it up. Maybe the Eve multiverse crossover where Amar Corporation saves the Kaldari from the Mimitar slave owners. Yeah, and that is honestly kind of one of the things that was always sort of passively interesting about Echoes, in the fact that it is a parallel universe. And so, like, seeing how things play out there could be interesting. You also might see the current null blocks head over to a new server and try to claim, which might weaken them on Trank, leaving them vulnerable. Yeah, exactly. That would be... That'd be weird. You already got much of, almost got Princess Agard. The lore team would not need to do much. It would be like, okay, we talk about different timelines, but what would be fascinating to me would be to go back and know what CCP would have done based on the results of the Alliance, the Amar Championship. I think that's probably the moment in time that the players, like, the CCP had no idea where it was going to go, because each one of those options, each of the heirs, had more or less equal chance of winning, because they all had their own, you know, it was controlled by a player tournament, right? So, like, they're all doing their best to choose the right people. CCP did not fix the tournament. Therefore, the heirs pretty much had all the same chance, as it were, of winning. So, like, and we even looked at it back then, like, it would have been so fascinating to see what would have happened based on each of the results, right? If Khanid, what if Khanid had become the actual Emperor of Amar? Would that have even been acceptable? You know, what if, you know, Kador, there's Uriam Kador, I think it was still Uriam Kador was still the heir at that point. Like, that would have been bad. Honestly, they got the most stable option in Caddis, Teshmerkon, because she's such a businesswoman and she's got so many ties to the state. But yeah, at the time, each of the options were very interesting and would have taken Amar in very different directions. So if not for a reinforced bulkhead, we might have been on the side of the drifters. If Kador was in charge, we would have invaded Galente space again. It certainly would have strained relations. Daily goal achieved, baby. That's what I was doing this for, because I want to do all my daily goals on my alphas. That's definitely... All right. Am I at the wormhole or not? I am not. All right, let's go check out one of these wormholes. No, I don't think it was rigged. I just, like... I remember at the time, I was pointing... Like, Tashmerkon... It actually was really helpful, because in Templar 1, there is a scene where Jamil, why am I not warping? That was weird. Jamil, like, it's her talking to, like, it's her inner monologue, and she says her feelings about each of the heirs, and that's where a lot of, like, it's funny because, like, the previous set of heirs were actually pretty well established. In fact, if you go on, like, the EVE Universe portal, you'll still see a lot of information about them to this day because of how much information was established about them in that time period. But we have almost nothing. We have so little about the current heirs. What is this? Always lemons. Oh, would have been made for a good cinematic. Maybe they should show the hot drop, then the counter hot drop, then the counter hot. You know, wait, hold on. You know that the Gallente, you know, Khador invading. Okay, no, Jeff just made a reference to it. Never mind. He does know what he's talking. He does know. I'm like, you do know that there was a video of Khador invading Gallente space. That is the video that the term, you know, military experts are calling this a sinusoidal field comes from. All right, this isn't it either. The nice thing is once I find this wormhole, even if I get killed, I'll still know where this wormhole is. So. I don't know why, but that's one of my favorite trailers. It's a fun trailer. It's wild to think of what CCP might have done if it had gone different. Would we have walking in stations? Might have skipped scarcity? Might Dust 514 be on PC? I'm sorry. I don't think the Amarr Championship would have changed any of those things. Well, the other thing is that, like, hold on. The other thing about the military experts thing is you got to remember that when that video came out, like, the idea of sinos were much newer. I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure capitals were pretty well established even by then, maybe? But, like, it certainly wasn't... Like, if they were just like, oh, that's a sino! Like, it would have been actually a little bit strange at that time. What year was that? Isn't that the Quantum Rise trailer? Hold on. Oh my god, I was right. This is why you watch me, right? Because I have all this shit memorized. What else am I going to do with all this information? Hold on. Hold on.
News.
17 years ago, 2008. So yeah, capitals existed.
Financial news, commodity prices fell on profit-taking for trading runs, but the manufacturing sector rallied on economic data showing a sharp increase in orders for Starship components. Meanwhile, an increase in mining yield for the period indicates...
We have a breaking story. This is live footage of the Rattalos border in Solitude, where Imperial Navy warships have just crossed... wait, correction. We have reports now that those ships belong to the Amarian Royal Heir Uriam Khador, not the Imperial... Whoa! They've opened fire.
Back when the Amarr did interesting
Amarian
things.
Heir Uriam Khador has just launched a personal invasion of Federation space, which just months ago was invaded by... I'm sorry, we're getting more footage now.
Okay, heavy fighting is underway between forces in... Look!
Military experts are calling this a sinusoidal field.
Hundreds, maybe thousands of ships are coming through.
This is a massive Federation counterattack. The Galentians are fighting back with everything they've got.
Look, a Federation Titan has just come through.
There's no escaping them now.
There you go. All right. Back to the hunt. Back when the Federation could win fights. Oh my god. What's funny is there's that I Was There trailer. I can put that on if people are interested, but there's a I Was There trailer, and when it first came out, people criticized it because it was so unrealistic because it was a Gallente, like an all Gallente fleet, and at the time hybrid weapons were just crap. And so, like, they were kind of making fun of how unrealistic it was that somebody would actually be using a full Gallente fleet, which, of course, that has become more true now. But when it came out, it was almost laughable. But the funny thing about it was based on a true story. So at one point, it was true. But then by the time they made a video about it, it no longer seemed realistic and everybody made fun of it. But then now it's become more like a viable story again. Yeah, that's true. The Gallente won their last major fight. Now, granted, their last major fight was invading themselves, so there's that. But they won. Remember, guys, rule number one of exploration, you always find what you're not looking for. How am I finding so many wormholes that aren't the one that I'm looking for? The player version of I Was There trailer was always better. Are you... what? Are you talking about the right one? Was there a player version? I know there was a player version of the, This Is Eve video. This is really Eve. Hold on. All right. One last wormhole here, and then we'll... oh, if it works, then great. If it doesn't, then we'll go to the next system, which I don't have... where is it? Not it. Where am I going now? Antiri. Now, obviously, I could still be running sites here. I could be doing stuff. There was a deep flow rift that I could have done earlier. This ship is 1.5 million ISK. So even if you just, like, found some drones abandoned on a Stargate, you will pay off this ship. So that's a big piece of this. I have what I call disposability tank. If I die, then we just reset and try again. But I could have easily have done other stuff if I was going on my own, like if I was just a newer player trying to do this for my own thing. When you're doing it yourself, you know, obviously you might find things that you want to, you know, latch on to before you get there. We have a goal that we're trying to laser focus on. I'm sure you guys are going to try to distract me most of the day, and that's fine. That's what we're all here for. Got my ring, so I'm going to try to hit the edge of the ring. See if that works. I was there with Shadu. Oh, God. Shadu is such a legend. Y'all don't know Shadu. I mean, some of you do, obviously, but, like, those of you who don't know who Shadu is, I'm sorry, your EVE experience is just a little bit worse than the rest of us. Armor hacks! Puppy cam when? You know, I've thought about this a lot when it comes to how I could do a puppy cam, like where to set it up, you know, etc. You guys are interested, let me know. So, honestly, I would need to have... Well, I don't know if I even need to have another webcam. I could theoretically set up, like, one of my phones as a webcam. You know what I really need, guys? You know what I really need? More hard drives. Especially SSDs right now. Like, I'm still relying on some normal platter hard drives, and it's getting frustrating, especially as I'm trying to edit more. This one's not it, obviously. Now, there is actually an easier way to find the system that the wormhole is in. Because if you use your directional scanner, you might catch... you might be able to catch the Rasnaborg. Because in a system that has a wormhole connection to the trig, you'll have Rasnaborg. Now, one of the things that people used to do in order to find wormholes is that if you keep track of Z-kill and watch the Rasnaborg feed, you know, when Rasnaborg kills somebody, you know that there's a wormhole there, and also might be expensive stuff. So, you know, that's a good way of, like, identifying where a wormhole is if you don't, like, whatever. But the problem is that with several nerfs to how the Rasnaborg work, they don't kill people nearly as much as they used to. So, not as consistent. This is a level 4 data site. This is actually going to be a good test of my ability to scan. Okay, so I cannot scan down this site. It's a limited sleeper cache. Hold on. Let me check real quick. I don't think I'm going to be able to scan this even under, like, the best of conditions. Let me double check. Yeah, 82 point sensor strength. Do I have a thing that shows my sensor strength? Does it show your sensor strength now? I think it does, doesn't it? Hold on. What's my actual sensor strength? Does it say it? I thought there was a place that shows you your sensor strength or your scan strength of your probes. Is that not a thing anymore? Wait. Aha! So yeah, I have 82 scan strength, so there's no way I am going to scan that down. We're not even going to try. So this one's interesting, because, like, it has to be within a celestial. I don't know. We'll try it. That should be enough if you manually remove your probe. Really? You think so? Also... is that Setonia? And did your name change? If Setonia is telling me that I can do it, then I'll at least give it a shot. What's the site that goes boom on you and rats show up? Sleeper caches, or not sleeper caches. You're talking about ghost sites. Oh, never mind. Doesn't matter. Somebody already ran it. Doesn't matter. Somebody already ran it. Oh yeah, there it is. 82 points. Thanks, Rag. There's a local Guristas. I mean, I don't really... Well, data sites in HiSec are fine. But there's so many people in this system probing that, like, the chances of me actually getting something is bleh. So I'm not even going to... Let's focus. Focus. Well, then what is the minimum sensor strength or scan strength required for a limited sleeper cache? I guess standard is like 110, I thought? So I don't know. I'll have to look them up. I'm also like, I don't really do though. That's one thing that I should look up and look into doing more, especially with something like this. Although doing a limited sleeper cache with a Tech 1 hacker is a good way to find out how you're going to die. Oh my god, so many bad holes. Sure you don't want to just use filaments? I mean, I do. But that's fine. We're doing this. We only have... We're halfway done. We're a little halfway done. We did 6 systems, and we've got 5 more to scan. Yeah, 106 sensor strength. Okay, well, what's... I don't know. Quick search didn't find me an answer. I'm not going to make you guys wait. Boo. Fix my scan. Okay. The whole point of this challenge is if I can do this, you can too, right? There are definitely better ways of doing it, potentially here and there, but the whole point is that, like, the only difference between me and anybody else is my knowledge of the systems. So you can do this too. And hopefully we'll either find out if this is a good idea or not today. That's the goal. I'm not saying that I'm the only person that's done this, or I'm not even saying that I'm uniquely interesting for have thought of it, but this is what I kind of came up with last night, or 2 nights ago, whatever, as a thing to do, to keep exciting. If you do like exciting things, and you want to see more videos like this, make sure to like this stream. Y'all been skimping on your likes, man. AI spit out 90? What? It must be true. Somebody ask Aura. Oh, hold on. I've got double audio right now. Sorry. Where am I going next? Inaro? Oh, hold on. That's a wormhole too. One of these wormholes is right. Also, the Oz just came out because the quarterly report for Pearl Abyss just recently was done, and Oz did a review of it. I'd recommend you guys checking it out. But from the looks of things, at least by his analysis, things are going pretty good for EVE Online right now. It's a good quarter for them. Oh my gosh. All right, well, let's keep going. Did you explain how you know what wormhole is the correct one? I'm half listening. Yeah, so the wormholes that go into Pochfin have these giant Rakavine, you know, the black crystalline rock formations all around it, and possibly also Trig. Another good thing to search for is usually if there is these kinds of wormholes, there'll be somebody, you know, farming it. So you might see a bunch of Rasnaborg Rex and like a Kronos or something. That's another identifier that there's a Trig wormhole there. But the reason why I'm able to warp between them without even checking the wormhole itself is because the wormhole for a Trig system is a whole site. It actually is based off of the major conduit visuals. It's also the same as if you go to a site in, or a wormhole in Pochfin, right? It's got the big, you actually land like 50 kilometers off the hole. All right, well, if it takes me a whole hour just to scan these 15 systems, then that, you know, I don't know if that changes anything, but it would have been nice to got luckier. Hopefully I get lucky when it actually counts. Hey, look, there's that, oh no, this is, we're in Caldari space. I was about to say, that's one of the illegal home fronts. But those are in Galente space. And yes, I'm going to refer to them as illegal home fronts until they get fixed. Hey! Found it! See, this is how I could tell. Also, there's Concord here? Yikes. Alright, fair enough. I don't know. Are they going to kill me? Are they going to attack me or not? Hey, looks like I fixed my standings at one point. That's good. Let's go to the wormhole. Actually, let's go to the cargo. I usually scan a stage of scan ship in Pochfin systems I want. You know, this is another point where, like, if you end up liking this idea, starting in Pochfin is the best, you know, best option. So if you can just stash a whole bunch of these in Pochvin, then you basically are you've already done a lot of the hard work for yourself. 3 million? Whatever. Okay. So now things get dangerous. I have no cloak. But I'm looking for a system that has not an entire camp right on top of me. Jesus. Okay, well, awesome. Do I get off? Yes. Are they going to kill me as soon as I land on the star? Because I warp to the star? There is an incipient drone swarm here, so I really want this system to be good. Also, I should have bookmarked that bookmark, but it's the EYG. I just had to go. I should have bookmarked my wormhole. That was my first mistake. I don't know why I made that kind of mistake. People can make fun of me all you want, because I deserve it at that point. Okay. Combat scanners are already out. So I don't think this is going to be a good spot for me. Uh-oh. No, that's totally fine. Can I drop my own probes and scan these guys? I could just go to a different system. It's probably what I should do. EYG is the one I came through. We're just going to scan it down really quick just to get it off the table. And I'm going to be watching for combat probes. And I'm going to be moving so that way even if somebody probes me down, they're not going to land directly on top of me. Whatever, that's enough for that one. I don't need to fully scan it down, because I know what it is. So I'm kind of racing. I don't know whether or not those guys are going to try to hunt me down. I don't see a lot of combat probes on me. It could very well be that I'm considered to be too low priority of a target to actually hunt down. Like, who's going to actually hunt down a heron? But I can't rely on that, obviously. Depends on how bored they are, exactly. It'll take them almost no effort if they actually, like, make the decision to be successful in scanning me down. But hopefully, I'll notice their combat probes before they get close enough to actually scan me. Huh. Combat power. There is... I'm right? There was... Yeah, there's an incipient drone swarm, so there doesn't have to be a wormhole to rogue drone lands in the system right this second, because it could have closed already, and this is just a site that's still open from that. But that's not hard. That's, you know, pretty unlucky. Also, I should definitely not be scanning at 0.01 because I need to see him a lot closer than that. Let's just do that. All right. Cosmic signature. There it is. Pochvin's so pretty. What are the combat sites that show up here? I'll have to scan those. Oh, are those the... What are the combat sites that spawn in Trig space? I'll scan one down. Is that a deep flow rift? It's a... This is also a combat site. I guess I will scan it down. It's a level 2 difficulty. So none of the wormholes here actually lead to where we want to go. Like I said, it is possible. Observatory infiltration. That's considered a combat site? Okay, well, whatever. Those are core scanner probes, not combat probes. But it looks like there's nothing here for me. So let's pull these in. Those were my probes. That's good to know. And so we can open up the agency and we can see combat anomalies within 2 jumps. We can see nope, that's signatures. I don't need signatures. I need anomalies. In 2 jumps. Okay, whatever. The 2 jump things didn't work. Nani? I should have done this different. Do I... Hold on. Is the... Whoop, that's not it. Is opportunities going to be better for this? Insipid drone swarms, Yonichi. There we go. So I need more of those. Insipid drone swarm. Set destination. All right, we're going. Now we got a way to go. Now, I can't just warp directly to the... I mean, I could, but I'm not going to warp directly to the Stargate because I am outside of the D-scan range of it, so I don't know if there's something there. So I'm going to set my D-scan to 5 degrees, and as we get closer, I'm going to check it. And look, there's the Hecate, the Viator, and the Loki there. So that's not great. Although that's... No, they're on the station. They're on the station. Or they're right here. No, that's the station? Well, this is dangerous. Are any of them going to try to land on the gate with me? The question is, how active are these dudes, right? How active are these guys right this second? And the answer is, there's a probe on not too far away. Oh, yeah. Just throw me an AFK. All right. So there is no... No, there's all kinds of rogue drones in the system. So I'm going to assume that there actually could be something cool here. So we're going to warp to the disrupted gate and make a bookmark. I do love checking out the disrupted gates. They're really pretty. I should have dropped drones first. Why do I keep doing things in like the wrong order or forgetting what I'm supposed to be doing? I should have dropped drones. There's nothing terribly spooky in the system right now, which is nice. Make a second bookmark just in case while I'm landing. Yeah, disrupted gate. These things are so cool looking. All right. Would be nice to be able to have multiple D scans, like you have multiple overviews. Ooh, yeah, but that'd be rough. And kind of limited in its application, and it'd be hard to visualize it on the map. That's a good point. Being able to hotkey or save D scan settings so you could flip between like your 5 degree and your 360 degree 1AU, your 5 degree max range and whatever, you know, between those two settings or whatever, that'd be really useful. Now, these wormholes are a lot spookier to warp to than normal wormholes because they all are those sites that I just showed off when we came into the site or into the system, but they're populated by whatever rats come from the other side. So if they're eating comm rats because we're connected to a known system, then it's not so bad. But if it's drifters or sleepers or rogue drones, you know, it might get sketchy. And of course, there could be players there wanting to eat me. So, all things to worry about. Let's see. I don't remember which one of these two echoes it is, so I'm just going to do one at a time. Keep it kind of tight, so if it fails, then it... Or if it's not correct, then it'll fail. I'd like multiple hotkeys for the same thing. I don't want to remove control space to stop my ship, but I want to put it on my mouse. But I'd also like to put... Oh, yeah, you want to be able to set multiple... Like, have it so that two different things are both the hotkey for the same action. It's pretty normal for video games to allow you to set two hotkeys for any given thing, especially with multiple controls. It is interesting, like, one of the things that I saw being speculated about when it comes to, the UI and everything that they're doing is that they're trying to make it able to be more compatible with different form factors. I don't know how true that is. I feel like this is just normal kind of fear-mongering or whatever, but it is, but Eve doesn't. Yeah, well, Eve is not a modern game. It's a 20-plus-year-old game now, so... Deep flow rift? Oh, you can get deep flow rifts. Look at that. And a second wormhole. Okay, so we got two wormholes. That's good so far. I'm going to do the probe like this and see what I get. But if CCP simplifies the UI to the point EVE Online can be a mobile game. Well, I actually think that if you really cared enough and like put a lot of effort into how to make it work, you could actually make EVE Online into a mobile game. And by that I mean like the amount of interactions that you need to have. I mean, like to a certain extent, you could argue that that's exactly like Echoes showed that it was provably possible. They did obviously like they simplified some things, but I don't believe that those were necessary to be simplified for the purposes of making it mobile compatible. Whoops. Tried putting speed adjustment on my mouse, 3-4 buttons, but it adjusted it 1 ms at a time, so it wasn't useful. Scroll, 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 scroll. I do want to talk about a couple other things today, or at least something else today. I was meaning to talk about this yesterday, and you'll probably hear me talk about this a few more times in the next couple of weeks. But if you're not paying attention to what's going on with Discord, you should absolutely be paying attention to what's going on with Discord. I'm not really going to make a whole segment about it yet or anything like that, but I have made a previous video before titled "Do Not Trust Discord." You know, full disclosure or whatever, you know, I did get my account hacked a couple of years ago, I think it was now. That's not my point. My point was, the security flaw that allowed that to happen was difficult to excuse. But more importantly, I've interacted with Discord mods or devs on several occasions now, both involving that and also just trying to talk to them about security flaws in the way that their permission structures work. And they were very rude and laughed me out. And so, like, I don't know, man. I've said for a long time that Discord is one of those things that, like, they came up with a really good idea, but it wasn't, like, they aren't a good development company. They just managed to lock onto the good idea at a time in which, let's be frank, actually, making a lot of Discord, making Discord, technically speaking, is not that challenging anymore. You know, like I used to work on a VoIP, a mobile VoIP system, like basically a teleconferencing app. So I've literally worked on exactly this kind of stuff, and it's pretty straightforward nowadays. And in fact, making chat rooms and stuff like Discord is literally a tutorial that gets taught in colleges nowadays. I'm not moving. That's not great. So yeah, on the one hand, like, I get the whole security thing, and like we're living in this increasingly like spooky world when it comes to this sort of stuff. But like, and I don't even necessarily argue that Discord should not have better parental or like adult versus youth protections, as there has been a lot of problems with happening on Discord. I feel like this option is almost pushing some of that under the table, or under the rug, as it were, and not actually fixing any of the issues, and just giving them your information is just such a spooky thing, just given the company's history. So, the long story short, for the convocation and for my show, we are going to and are looking into other options. I don't 100% know what they're going to be yet. There's been a couple of ideas coming out. I'm sort of letting it cook for a little bit since it doesn't happen until next month. But just know that, like, I don't know. I don't personally trust Discord with anything. Ever since what happened with my stuff, I haven't paid for Nitro because I don't want to give them my financial information anymore. Just they are not good stewards of your data. Could always go back to TeamSpeak if you have someone host it. Yeah, but the problem, so the whole value of it is that, like, it's a chat room and a voice communication protocol, and it's all this stuff in one. The biggest advantage that I had, and the reason why we originally switched to Discord from Slack, and why I pushed it so heavily, was because like the process of getting somebody onboarded in Slack was a pain in the ass because it was designed for like corporate level use. So every single person had to be manually added. For those of you who do not know, I actually created the Tweet Fleet Slack, which was like the very first chat room, like the Discord. This official EVE Online Discord was kind of came afterwards. So it's the first one that was like this. And so like I created it first, and then immediately the problem was it was super popular, and people, there had to be a process where one of the moderators had to individually accept every single person, which is why Fuzzy Steve actually created a tool to allow people to, you know, request it, so that way we could better keep track of it. Yada, yada, yada. So, you know, I have some experience with all of this. But the reason why we went to... that's so many wormholes. The reason why we went to Discord was because of the idea that I can just post a link, a URL, and it brings you in. And it gives you, you know, does everything it needs to do. That has always been the thing that, like, really won me over about Discord, was that it was frictionless to get people. Because if I'm leading, like, a group, if I'm leading a fleet, a public fleet, I need to be able to give somebody a thing that's like, hey, hop here and you can get in comms or whatever, right? So that was a big selling point for me. So that it will continue to be something that I kind of judge things on. Okay, let's see. This wormhole... So now that we have the exact location of things, I can align to it, and then I can try to I think, can I descan it now that I know where it is? I don't know, actually. That looks good. That looks good. So what we're going to do is we're going to warp to it, and we're going to make a landing pounce. It is very spooky to warp to these sites because of those giant crystal blocks. Depending on how you warp in, it can get in the way. Oh my god, first try. But now that I'm here, I can warp to my pounce and then warp to the wormhole. Is the wormhole even there? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Oh, right, because the signature isn't where the wormhole is. Of course. So now I can warp to this one. Kind of wild how Microsoft killed MSN Messenger in favor of Skype and then killed Skype in favor of Teams. Yeah. I don't know. Microsoft is not the company that I want to seek refuge with, I guess is what I'm going to say. All right, where do we end up? Did this work? Oh my god, it worked! Okay, okay. Wait. Oh, no. Okay, it's here. Wait. Why doesn't... Oh, there's the site. Jesus, I was like, why isn't there a site here? No, it was here. Okay. And now we are in Dronelands. It was just that simple. Now I just realized that I don't have local. Hold on. Yeah, I'm by myself in Dronelands, in Kavala Expanse. And there's 3 signatures to scan down. Flawless. Perfect. Excellent. Theory. Admittedly, I did have to search 9 systems in HiSec to get a wormhole. And then I had to go 1 jump in Pochfin. The next payout is in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Man, I wish... Oh, there's nothing in the main bank. Careful, it's prime time in Dronelands. That's part of what makes this exciting. All right, so let's go ahead and go. I cannot believe this is going so smooth. I kind of can. I have strange luck when I'm doing streams. I won't lie. things just kind of work out in a way that's like, well, that's good. Might have been more fun to see what would have happened if things didn't work out, but this is good. We're good. No, yeah, you go ahead and stay with us, Havoc. Yeah, right now we're doing exploration on an alpha character. Like, my goal is to do alpha exploration with no filaments or anything like that. So we scan down a hole to Pochfin. What's the setup like? I am using the default Air Caldari Explorer ship and fit. What I did was I scanned the... there's, I think, 12 total systems that are potentially connected to Uranichi, which is the closest Pochfin system to Jita. So I just picked up this Heron, started scanning it down those systems. I got it on, I think, the 7th system, made it into Pochfin, got away from a couple of dudes, and then one jump later, and I found a... Because the thing is that all nullsec connections in Pochfin is to drone lands. So my goal here was to get to drone lands because I think that like, it's kind of a better exploration place right now. Not only is there a lot of exciting stuff going on in drone lands, but also drone lands has some pretty unique opportunities for explorers. So I wanted to create a path to the drone lands, and I did that. So now we could actually travel back and forth from Jita to the drone lands as much as we want. You know, I could go grab a ship and go do the reserve bank. We could, I just scanned down hierarchy. I could go get a ship to go do that, you know, whatever. But the whole point of this is that, like, we're doing it as an alpha clone, no filaments, no nothing, only a 1.5 million-isk ship, and here we are. Is there lore for all wormholes going in Pochfin going to drones? There's, I mean, there is no outright explanation for it, but it is a known fact, and it is interesting because, of course, you know, the Trig are associated with rogue drones, but that's why there's the rogue drone swarms. The idea is that theoretically, what might be happening is the rogue drones are attempting to attack Pochfin, right? Because when the connection is made, there are incipient drone swarms within Pochfin. That said, CCP, there's no, like, definitive, this is why this is happening. It's just a known fact of what it is. It's just, like, in theory, I think it's not completely random which wormhole systems it connects to. They like, wormhole people that lived in Pochfin have been, like, keeping track of what wormholes things connect to. Hey! This is so perfect. A detected site. This means that I got into a juicy area. Excellent. This is perfect. This is exactly what I was hoping this would be. Yeah. Oh my God. So yeah, if you're an alpha pilot and you want to, like, have... This feels like it should be a little bit more consistent for money because these sites... Droneland sites, even the data site seemed like it was pretty good. And the relic site, I mean, relic sites are always fairly good. So we can make a pounce here. Eve devs don't follow through lore. I mean, I think that we've proven time and time again on my stream by digging through stuff that they do. It's just often subtle. I mean, the fact that there are through lines for me to follow across the course of decades shows that. The reserve bank does require a key that is gotten through one of the hardest PvE sites in LowSec. It basically requires 3 Marauders and or Black Ops. Oh, this is... Yeah, this is just where I came from. Got it. All right, let's start hacking. It is worth noting, actually, I just realized one of the mistakes here is that, like, these as a alpha, these sites are going to be harder for me. And if you fail a hack in the drone lands, I'm pretty sure rats spawn. So hopefully I don't die. I need that kernel rot. Oh, that's bad. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Please, no. All right, fine. We'll do this. 2 means it's there. 5, 2, 1. Oh, wrench. Wrench. Holy crap. All right, let's try to beat through this fucking thing. Can I? Nope, I failed. Did that get spawn? Do I have spawn? Am I dead? I'm not dead. Okay, I'm not dead. Let's keep going. Uh, 50-40. Oh, all right. We're going to break through this 50-40. A wrench is good. Hey! Perfect. 6.8 million and 4 out of them total. That's good. All right. Well, I already bought 3 of my ships, or 4? 3 or 4, somewhere in there. Spawns are only in the data sites that give drone juice, as far as I know. We're treading into territory I'm not that familiar with, so you're going to hear me say, like, I don't know, let's find out a lot. I feel like I'm getting a lot more of the harder cans in this site than we got in any of the sites that we did the other day. Look at all this rule of... Oh, that wasn't... That was smart. That was bad. That was dumb. That was not a rule of 6. Regeneration nodes suck. Oh, oh, oh! Hell yeah. 500,000. See, guys? Who gives a shit if you lose a red can? That yellow can gave 6.8 million. This red can gives like less than 500,000. Okay. Okay. It doesn't really matter if you lose a can every once in a while. I don't need to descan right now. I own the system. Lots of relic sites and drone lines are worth 25 to 70 million each. Exactly. That's why I'm here. I think it's harder. Well, no, what I'm saying is that I got less. I didn't have as many. Oh. And this is why it sucks to be an alpha clone. When they talk about, like, oh yeah, there's sometimes that are just going to be impossible. Fuck. This is kind of what they mean. So, yeah, you watch. I die. I literally die just on that one suppressor. If you get a suppressor before you get a spike, this is what I was talking about last time too. If you get a spike, cling on to it for dear life. Because if there are spikes, that means that there are also those suppressors. And a suppressor without a spike, as an... come on. A suppressor without a spike... with a Tech 1 hacker is a death sentence. Okay. But also the idea that red cans are impossible, 2.5 million. Red cans are impossible with a Tech 1 hacker is also completely ridiculous. Yeah, there are definitely you know, hacks that are basically impossible. I'm not saying that there aren't. I'm saying, like, it's not a default, and it also doesn't matter if you lose a can every here and there, as long as you get some of them. Not if you know, not if you throw enough. Yes, you're right. If you have some sort of tool, you can get through it, but even if you have a repair tool, you're going to be left so fucking weak after that. Yes, this is max alpha hacking skills, which is 3. Okay. We'll shield up and go into this one. I get 1 hit from there. And that hurts, but it's not the end of it. Repair is good. Why did all of these have 2? Is it there? Oh no. Oh no. Alright, well, let's try that. Nope. Alright. Nope. 2. This is going to say 1, isn't it? Yep. No! That was bad. Also 5. Okay, well, I gotta try this one. That's the... Okay. Well, I guess I just don't know where the core is. This is a loser. Oh! Fuck. Okay. That one was dumb. That one was me. That was mine to lose. Get a cargo scanner? Why? Who cares? I'm gonna hack it either way. Rule of 6, and I have the cracker. Hell yeah! Perfect, perfect. See, thank you. Oftentimes when a hack punishes me like that, the next one they just give it to me like that one. 10 million! Oh my god! See, if I had scanned that ahead of time, I would have cried. It's better to just not know sometimes. Did I get escalation? I don't think I got the escalation yet. Did I? Hold on. No, I didn't get an escalation yet. Right? Where is that? No, it's just when you warp back and forth between... Where is it? Yeah, escalation's unavailable. When you warp, like, within the site, it just made this, this window that tells you about the site pop back open.
Warp drive active.
If I get an escalation, that would be really funny. Well, I keep descanning just by habit. It's not a bad habit. So many 5s. So what's fun about this is that, like, the 50-40 sounds like it's the spookier one, but if you think about it, I have to hit this one 3 times, so that's 60. This one's... I have to hit these things twice because I have 25. So I'll have to take 40 damage from this one, 60 damage from this one. So it's actually better to break through this one. That's bad, though. That's very bad. I hate regeneration nodes. Hey, do I still get it? Hold on. I should have double checked, but I do. Yay! Another 11 million. Another 11 million from this can, which means, yeah, all of this is just loot. So I've gotten 30 million from this one place, and I've got 1 more can left. Was told escalations should now show up as an opportunities pop-up and event mission guide, but only the new mining ones. Okay.
Warp drive active.
That sucks, guys. Ow. All right. Now I got to figure out how to stay alive from this point on. Rule of 6, yay. That one wasn't rule of 6. A wrench is good. That's not. That's also not. 3. God damn it, man. That's a 5. Ugh! All right, all right, all right. Damn it, man. I love hacking more as an alpha than as a, like, going through them all easy peasy is fun, or is fine for money, but doing it like this it's definitely more exciting. 41 million from a single site. Almost did my entire challenge in the first site. Pretty good, pretty good. Also, this is the same system that I, like, came to, right? Because, like, okay, so if I open this up and I just put my probes directly on the bookmark and go all the way down, that should just get me... Oh, shit. I'll miss the bookmark. That'll work. Probably just need some extremely hard hacking sites for high-skilled players. What's the challenge? My challenge was to go from Jita all the way to Drone Lands and make at least 50 million ISK and make it home. Without using any filaments. It's just an excuse to use Pochfin to get out to Drone Land specifically to do some hacking, because the idea is that, like, yeeting out is good, but it is random. So if we can, if you know, Drone Lands is good for hacking, then Pochfin functions as, like, a secure, or not a secure, but a stable-ish route to Pochfin. Okay, so let's see. We can go... Oh yeah, I don't have anything set up here. Statistics, average pilots in space. Can I look up... Planets, Services, Insurgencies, Faction Warfare Corporation. No. I was hoping that we could find, like... signatures. If we go to the agency and go to exploration, we can see cosmic signatures. So we can see that this system has 2 signatures or whatever. So what was the map? The map told us that M3 TAC MH2Y does have 2 signatures in system. So let's go. Now that information's old, but there's not that many people around here to have, like, done it in the last 10 minutes. I'm going to claim those rewards so that stops popping up. Claim those rewards. Does that make that stop popping up? No, because this is annoying. I can't make this little tag go away because I'm alpha. Like, the only way to do that is to accept the rewards that are omega. I don't like that. That's not cool. All right. Drop my probes. Make a safe while I'm out here. Get to scanning. You guys, I had a dream about fighting a dog, but I won because I am a superior species. I would say that just the fact that you have decided to fight a dog brings into question whether or not you're the superior species. Just throwing that out there. What kind of superior species needs to pick on a dog? Man, I've become such a softie now that I'm a dog owner. Cerberus is a pretty mean dog. Okay. But, you know, if you beat up Cerberus, then oh shit, what's the guy from the game Hades? I was going to say your name is blah, but I can't think of his name right now. The son of Hades. I keep getting hierarchies. Whatever. No, it's not Hercules. It's the son of Hades. I mean, any cat will tell you why they need to pick on a dog. No, it wasn't Kratos. Oh my god, really? Hold on. Zagreus. That's an interesting echo, because like both sides of the echo could theoretically be the cause of the echo. I'm not used to that. No, not God of War. I'm saying Hades. Kratos is just a dude cursed with anger management issues, pretty much, right? Like, isn't that a whole beat where, like, he's totally fueled by his anger, and, like, even if he wanted to, he can't give up that anger, he can't give up his rage, it's, like, imbued in him? I thought that was, like, part of the whole thing with, like, the one with his kid. I don't know. To be honest, I haven't actually played any of the God of Wars all the way through, even though I like that kind of genre. Like, I've played a bunch of the Devil May Cry, and even Dante's Inferno. What is this? It's another detected site. Abandoned research. Okay. Well, let's give it a shot. Now, this one will kill me or will at least spawn rats in theory if I fail a hack. So that could make this exciting. I don't know how well this ship will survive such a thing. Let's find out. What is this place? Okay. It looks angry. I mean, Kratos was cursed by the end of the last game. He mastered his anger and fully... Okay. Like I said, I haven't played like that much about it. I've watched some like analysis of it, and I just remember like there's a whole thing about him. Like there was a whole beat where his, you know, his anger, his source of power was also a curse of a kind. Elite seems to be that one game that takes over your life. There are so many games that are that one game that'll take over your life if you let it. I actually have Elite Dangerous. I bought it, and I even, like, I've been planning on playing it on VR, but I've never actually, like, dug into that. Is that something that people would actually be interested in me, doing? Fucking fuck, damn it, fuck. Okay. Okay. What do I do? I think I just blow through it, right? Fuck. Nope. I think I'm dead, right? I'm just dead now? I'm not dead yet? I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Wait. I did it! Woo! See? This is why we hack with Tech 1 hackers. This is why we don't scan.
Warp drive active.
All right, well, that was try one. Or that was the first one. Now, that was the research and development laboratories. We've got 2 high-security containment facilities, so I have no idea if those are going to be harder or easier. Hopefully easier. Wasn't the whole thing like Kratos didn't really have that much of a choice in the matter? Like he was basically a weapon that was created by a god that wanted to kill off the other gods? Again, I have not... Oh, rule of 6. And away we go. Wow! What? Okay. So the hard can I barely make. It gives me 1 blueprint, and that's so many blueprints. This feels like a good can. Arc Raiders is starting to be the game that finally takes me out of E for the first time in 8 years. I've been playing Enfield so much. I've not gotten into Arc Raiders yet, because every time I get into Arc Raiders, every time I think about Arc Raiders, I'm like, what am I doing? Am I just practicing for Vanguard?
Warp drive active.
Arc Raiders is your primary salt mining lately? I should play Star Citizen? Somebody has suggested that they're going to pick me up a copy of Star Citizen or whatever, just to make me try it out. I don't know. I'd be willing to. Perfect. No notes. Easy. And another 10 million out of this. The easy cans gave me significantly more money. Okay, well, I've made my fortune in less than 2 hours. Now I'm just going to try to get back at this point. I mean, we could go for more, obviously, and I could keep going back and forth all I want. But like, I feel like we've proven our point in 2 sites in 2 hours. Let's see whether or not we can get home or not, because remember that my way in was being camped, so I could just be bringing 50 million ISK worth of stuff, you know, 50-50 drop rate, to whoever happens to be in Pochvin here in a few seconds. But we should have at least tried to fail a hack just to see if we could survive the whole thing, but whatever. I spent the last week back in X4. There is, I am so excited for the new update to Age of Wonders 4 that's coming out. Like the nomadic group with the rabbit race and the nomadic. So the nomadic culture, rabbit race, and like scorpions and desert and all that kind of stuff. Like, oh my god, that looks so good.
Warp drive active.
They also just came out with the first like big challenge in Enfield today, like the end game stuff. So I was playing around with a little bit of that this morning. Okay, so I'm going to jump through and then hopefully, I mean, so the rogue drones on the other side, I'm not that scared of. Rogue drones can't point. So I should be able to just get away.
Warp drive active.
And then I want to head to Uranichi. I could theoretically find a different way out if I wanted to. In fact, this system... is not great. It has a couple of low-sec systems. It could be a saber. I don't like that at all. And an Orthrus. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right. And a flycatcher in the direction of the Uranichi gate? Well, let's just wait a minute, I guess. Okay, flycatcher's not there anymore. Let's try. We're gonna make it go for it. I do like the introduction of like the rabbit race and the at the same time. That said, I definitely need to make a nomadic race of insects that just kind of run around and hoover up everything.
Warp drive active.
Did I not? Did I not bookmark the actual wormhole again? Is that what I did? Did I do that for real? That's so sad. Do I have combats out? Do they have combats out, I should say. Looks like they are busy fighting a liminal Zenitra right now. So yeah, they are running that flashpoint. So they're going to be focusing on that mostly. So the only thing I'd really have to worry about is like if they have security. But I don't see combat probes out right now, so probably not that important. No, I mean there is an insect race in Age of Wonders 4 already. I was just saying, like, as far as like a nomad scavenger going around and looting and pillaging every single special site that you can find kind of race, I think that the insects would make a much better option than bunnies. I want to make like samurai bunnies. That one, or there's another one. Banicula. You can have a vampire bunny. Okay. We're done with this. Actually, pull in the drone or the probes first. Okay, great. So now, oh shoot, I'm dumb. Now we align to the wormhole. And there is a vagabond over there, along with the Imperial guys. And, oh, warp disruption bubbles. Warp disruption bubbles, guys. Okay. Okay. I'm going to be coming in from the same direction as a lot of other places. This isn't going to work out. This is not going to work. Yeah. No, I don't have an extraction filament. The whole point is not to have extraction. Okay. I guess we're going to go back to the other system. It at least has some good choices. Yeah, and that, I mean, this is kind of the goal of what this is that I'm doing something where this is all stuff that you could do, and I do this that way I can run into the real challenges that really face us as we do these things, and hopefully letting you guys learn both from what I do right and what I do wrong. Well, the problem is that it kind of shows off that I'm sort of set up to fail there, because even if I warp in at 100, if I get caught in the drag bubble, I'm just there. So I could try to warp off. You know what? Actually, I have a better idea. Well, we already have so many wormholes probed down here. Hold on. That's right. We have so many wormholes probed down. I'm gonna. Yes. No, doing it in Caldari space was absolutely a mistake, for sure. That's why I did it. There's a station. Let's... I hate docking, but actually, let's go ahead and... Fine. We will see whether or not we can get through the warp bubbles. Let's not be afraid of the warp bubbles, okay, guys? You want me to deal with the warp bubbles? I will see what I can do about surviving the warp bubbles. Understand that it's probably not going to happen, but we are at least going to take a shot at it. Again, my ship is only 1.5 million. If I die, I don't care. I just want to stash my stuff, so that way... God, I hope this works. I just yeah, no, I'm warping on grid. Great. So I just want my stuff to be in a station, because I'm going to go to there and I'm going to try to get a bookmark on the wormhole so then I can come back and get my stuff and then come back. Fear is the real mind killer. That is true. Now, I could, if I really wanted to, if I wanted to chump out, I could just go with a... They called it, they referred to it earlier, or somebody told me it earlier. Yeah, you can pick up Divana filaments from the NPCs for 10,000 in most of these stations. So I could just grab this and then be back in known space, but I'll be in a random Triglavian minor victory system, which will it could be in low sec. I don't really feel like doing that. So we're going to go here. We're going to grab all of my 56 million worth of loot plus BPCs. We're going to drop it into the hangar here. So now, even if I die, the stuff will be here. So now, once again, I'm just trying to find I'm trying to make my path and then go back and get my stuff so that way I can carry it along that path, okay? So we're just pretending like I have to get around these warp disruption bubbles. So we're going to give it a shot, all right?
Warp drive.
Or by the time I get back there, it'll be gone. One of the two. I cannot believe that there are still Fortizars up in Pochvin. Especially free-ported stations. Like, that's crazy. All right, let's see. There's that vagabond. Okay, so my thought is I'm going to warp in at 70, right? Wait. Yeah. I'm going to warp in at 70 to not try to get caught on any rocks. I'm going to make a landing pounce as I land and immediately attempt to warp to the landing pounce and hope I don't get caught in the bubble. And even if I get caught in the bubble, I'll probably be on the skin of the bubble and so should be able to warp to my pounce immediately either way. That is the plan. We'll see how well the plan works with a saber there. I'm going to guess poorly, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm in a million-esque ship.
Warp drive active.
I have to remind myself that. So I land in the bubble. That's okay. And the saber immediately gets me. With a fucking scram. Good job. Well done. Yep, that's pretty much what I was expecting. So because of the fact that I was warping in, it tracks my point. My entry point. And so they were able to drag me out of warp into exactly where they wanted me to be. So what I can do now is I could go back through, like, ultimately it would be a terrible idea to keep trying to go into this scenario, right? Now, let's think about this. Yeah, now it's just a matter of getting the stuff out of Pochvin. Now, hold on. Let's think about how we might want to do that if we were wanting to do that. So an interdiction nullifier is an is an omega only thing, even a tech 1. So I can't use that. Golly. Given that setup, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get back in there and get it out. Honestly. I feel like this is actually one of those situations where it's like wait a few hours and then try it again. It is the initiative. I should have insured my ship. But yeah, so I lost very little, but I would have to go out and rescue my stuff now, obviously. But I don't think I'm going to be able to break it out from there. I think you might be better off just going through wormhole space. For what? Can I get asset safety from Pochvin? No. Besides, it's in a station now, not a structure. No, like if I wanted to get my stuff out of there, it'd be really easy. I would just go in through another route. Even like scanning down, I could scan down this next door system, which is not too far away. scan down that entrance, and then kind of sneak in and out through there. There's plenty of ways that I wanted to do that to return right rather than gating through Pochven. Well, no, like, so I kind of have two choices. One, I could wait for that wormhole to, like I said, I could just wait a couple hours, see whether or not that camp goes away, because the chances are that that camp was there because they're running that site. So if we wait like even 20 minutes, chances are that that camp is going to be not there anymore if they ended up, like, if they have a different site to go run, right? Once that observatory flashpoint was dead. Because chances are what we actually ran into was the security detachment for the observatory flashpoint group, right? So if I waited like 10, 20 minutes, we could probably go back in and be fine. Otherwise, you don't even need to bring a Divana filament. As I pointed out, the Trig sell Divana filaments in there. So I could just go in there, pick up a Divana filament and getting out. I could go in through a different wormhole and then gate over. I could use a different ingressing filament, but then, you know, obviously each ingressing filament only has a certain chance of being successful. So I will want to point out that the Uranichi wormhole is probably the worst place to try to get in and out of Pochven. So, like, if you're trying to do this yourself, there's lots of other wormhole like Pochven systems that are really good for this. You know, once again, we can go over to the edencom.space page, and we can see, like, any of the systems with few systems that are green, like Kino. Here we go. Like, if you went and scanned these systems down, you would find the gate to Kino, and that would even be cooler because I think Kino's isn't Kino the Kino's the home system, so that would even be cooler. But you would be pretty far away from where we wanted to be. Where were we? What was the system? It was Uranichi. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, Uranichi's right here. So it would have been 5 jumps from Uranichi. You could do a Karai Prayer Rune. You could do a border. We go to Karai Svarog. Yeah, Nani would be an excellent choice. Although I think these are... Hold on. Actually... You know what? Screw it. We're going to go for it. We're going to try to recover our stuff today. Just because I don't want everybody to be like, oh no, he lost. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're going to go. We're going to get our stuff back. We come for our things. All right, so I'm going to grab another Air Career Explorer. Fit ship. Bye. 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 Or fit. And we're going to start our search. We actually have less systems to scan now than we did before. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 instead of 12. Let's go. I guess this is the advantage of Caldari losing so many systems during the war, huh?
Warp drive active.
And I still didn't insure my ship, but whatever. And I still think that this is probably I mean, like, it's a little bit more tedious in the fact that you have to scan, what, 7+ systems potentially. But I think that that's still, like, in the long run, smoother than trying to just use a filament, especially since, like, once you get in, you know, again, if I'd wanted to bring in friends, if I'd wanted to change my ship setup or whatever, like, you know, I have that wormhole connection, all of that mapped out. Obviously, the struggle is with that gate camp per se, but, like, those change over time. That's fine. That won't always be there. Besides, it could be fun to go smash it with some friends. Although, I don't know if smashing into initiative randomly is a good idea, but you could. You could. There is, in fact, nothing stopping you.
Warp drive active.
Much easier to wait out a gate camp with a cloak. That's true too. Although honestly, like, and as we proved with the, I think it was an Astero a while back, like, when it comes to that kind of gate camp, a cloak wouldn't have even really helped. Because I don't know if you noticed, but as I was landing, there was a bunch of crates and stuff. Like, those kinds of gate camps are kind of designed to pull people out of pull people out of warp and then decloak them.
Warp drive active.
They know what their targets are. My real problem was that if it was just the Vagabond there, like it was earlier, then it would have been fine. That Saber being there was the only reason why they were able to get me, right? Because it was able to keep that bubble on top of me. And then scram me. Scram me! How many Sabers carry scrams? I mean, I guess in Pochvin, more than a few, but like, how was I supposed to predict that the Saber would have a scram? That's not normal. Sabers are like, I have a bubble, that's all I need. Oh, this is one of the systems I need to scan down. Actually. Yeah, he was booking it. Yeah, he was fast too. Well, I mean, a Saber being fast doesn't surprise me. A Saber having a scram, much more surprising. I don't know if I've ever been scrammed by a Saber before. They're usually pretty reliant on their bubble to get the work done. Them Pochvin guys, they're a lot more nasty than the average null set camp. Most gate camping Sabers have scrammed to shut off micro jump drive. Really? Okay, well maybe. Fair enough. The gate camps I've bashed through in the past didn't. I guess that's true. There's a little bit of a difference between like a gate camp and nullsec. I don't know. I've always found that nullsec gate camps to be fairly lazy. Above, like beyond setup. It was a faction scram. Well, no, I don't know about that one, but you could see that the Vagabond did have a faction warp disruptor, at the very least. Yeah, can't tell. Data site, combat site. Now, all of a sudden, I get a bunch of data sites now that I'm rushing to get home. God. Why? Alright, whatever. I'm not angry, you're angry.
Warp drive active.
Local Garissa's Shadow Life Support Unit. Yeah, that would have been a good one to hack, too. Oh, well. I think this has been a pretty decent... I would say that I can recommend this, though, as an alternative to Yeet Exploration. Now, obviously, this went, like, particularly well, but at the very least, I'd say that it proved out the process. You know, you can use Pochfin to get into drone lands, and drone lands has good exploration. That's, I mean, that's pretty much what we tested today, right? We talked about how to find our way into Pochfin, find our way around Pochfin, find our way to drone lands from Pochfin, how to get home, when not to push it, and what happens if you do. It's been a good day. If you did learn something or had fun, make sure to like the stream. We're not wrapped up yet, but I just want to make sure to stress that. I just realized I'm scanning as if I have, like, maximum scan skills. You learned something? Great. I hope I just entertained you even a little bit on... It's Thursday, right? What the heck? Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. With my scan deviation the way it is, I shouldn't go down, bump down 2 steps. I can sometimes lose it like that. But I'm still going to do it because I'm bad. Oh, also, shoot. We'll be pulling the invited out of faction warfare probably today. That way we can engage with whatever's happening with the election and other things. Like, you'll still be able to direct enlist from the there, but you won't be forced into Minmatar faction warfare by being in the invited. I think the echo is down here, I assume, since I was mostly scanning up there. Hey, first try, baby. Heck yeah. And I landed over 100 off of the wormhole. What a kind thing to have happen. Now, let's don't worry, I don't care about your loot. Oh no, did I drift towards the wormhole? Shit. Hold on, move away. Are you guys initiative? No. Probably? We'll see. I don't think any of those guys are going to chase me inside. I didn't... Oh yeah, I guess I don't need to bookmark that wormhole. Well, I mean, I should have, but I didn't need to, per se. I do need to bookmark this one, though. Okay. And now I'm in Nani. Where's my stuff? Uranichi. Great. Which is next jump over, right? It is! Hey, look at that! Okay. And fun, there's rogue drones here too. I could have used this one. Oh, whoa. I didn't realize they would put up entropic disintegrators on the disrupted gate. But here we are. Let's go to Uranichi.
Warp drive active.
Interestingly enough, I think actually if I had created my pounce correctly the last time I warped to the other wormhole with the bubbles, if I warped to my pounce, I actually would not get caught in the bubble. I'm not going to try that this time right now, but I think that that's true. That's so funny. Hold cloak, 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 hold cloak. Hold cloak. Hell yeah, let's go. Why you never panic. Is the gate camp gone already? Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna do the dumb thing. Hey, there's Vedmak.
Warp drive active.
I'm gonna do the dumb thing. Oh my god, it worked. See? It did work. Now I'm way off of them, and I could figure out if I had a good warp in or not, which I totally do not at the moment. Yeah. But that worked at least, so we proved that working right. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and dock out and go the other direction. With the two sabers, I still could get caught. I still could get caught. As soon as I put the stuff in my cargo hold, I could go get caught. Okay. This is... It doesn't matter how much... 50 million ISK. It's terrifying. It's... I can't even count how many ships that will buy me if I manage to make it home.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Okay. Am I home free yet? All right. We're back into the danger zone now. I don't want to get caught. So I am more than 14 AU from the Nani gate, so I can't descan it. Okay, Nani gate is currently clear. But those two sabers jumped into the other side. 45 million will get you 30 ships at 1.5 million each. Well, thank you. Exactly. So I could mess this up 28 more times and still break even.
Warp drive active.
Well, I mean, unless I die now, then I lose it all. We are clear now. If those two sabers set up on the other gate now, though, I swear to God, stream snipers. All right. Let's just go to the pounce. I don't even remember where the pounce is a pounce of. And now there is the liminal Zunitra here. Don't think I see anything too spooky in local yet. But also don't know. Are we just going to blind warp to our home? Use one of the player buybacks? Yes, yeah, I could theoretically just sell it in Pochvin too. That could theoretically work too. How far away is that? 1.4 AU. So I'm fine. I'm fine.
Warp drive active.
For a new bro, it is an option. Absolutely, that's correct. You could just sell things through buyback or just even, you know, sell them in place into the market or wherever. Although the buyback, I think, would work better because depending on your standings, you may not have access to everything. But doesn't matter. I am out of here. Mission complete. Jita 44 Caldari Navy Assembly Plant. Let us go. We'll give this dude an 07 in local and get out of here. $56 million in the cargo bay. Now, again, like, if I really, really cared, I probably would have stayed for another site or two in the nullsec area. You know, I can't remember. I think it's like 70 million or something like that, just about there, that you need to make per day if you want to pay for your Omega. You know, I did this in 2 sites. Most of my work today was just finding the paths in and out. So once we had done that, we could just continue to raid those areas. How do I, why do I have a scan acquisition array in my cargo? I don't know. I wasn't even that particularly lucky when it came to the loot I got either.
Warp drive active.
So, what I want to hear from you guys, if you've made it this far, I want to challenge you guys. Go out there, do the same thing. See if you can use your alpha, like an alpha clone, to get out there, go on your adventure. If you're an experienced pilot, you know, long-term pilot, whatever. But if you're a newer guy, I want to hear your adventures. I want to hear how it goes. I've had a couple people sharing their stories. There's a new comment on the old Yeet exploration video. I love hearing the stories of you guys going out there and having adventures, doing Yeet exploration, doing any kind of alpha exploration or whatever like this. I would love to hear your stories and maybe even highlight some of them. Eve is only as boring as you make it. Where is it? There's another thing that somebody showed that might show the bugs. That people were talking about. No, that one, this works now, but that's also me. Nope, because I was able to see this one. Yeah, I know that there's some problems with like looking up characters. So like anywhere that a character was being named, but I can't make it, like, once again, I can't recreate it. So, if I go into chat and we like join, what is it? Eve Scout or Signal Card? Is it Eve Scout? No. Hold on. Is it Signal Cartel? No. Eve Dash Scout? There it is. Eve Dash Scout. We can go here and we can find the location bookmarks and connect to that. And then open up locations. Nope. This is all working.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
So I guess all that's left to do is jump into Jita and sell. So tomorrow, I'm probably only going to stream tomorrow if there's something to actually stream about. So if you're interested in me streaming something, hit me up. If you're interested in me streaming something on my second channel, let me know. I could be very much intended to do that. My second channel is linked down below, by the way, guys. You should check it out. It's got puppy videos and other such things. Where were we? So obviously the BPCs are going to be harder to sell. But I can just take all this salvage. What happens if I just sell it outright like this? I also might have grabbed more than I had, but I don't know. I might have already had some. Let's see if it's worth just selling directly. And I'm going to look for big negatives, like this one's 17% down, but it's also only 500,000 for the whole thing. So, I mean, I'm getting 45 million instead of the, what, 60 million I was hoping for. That one's 35% down. I don't know. I don't know if it's necessarily worth it to, like, min-max this right now. Probably not. Either way, 45 million, pretty decent. What? Oh, hold on. Oh no, I scrolled at the wrong time. Hold on, let's close that. What was it, Polymer? There we go. All right, well, looks good to me. Basically doubled the amount of ISK on my character. All right, well, all that said, I've been Ash Rothi. I've been playing this game since 2010, talking about it since 2012, and I'm here to put Eve into context for you, my fellow Empyreans. Thank you guys for coming with me on this journey, this adventure, as it were. Like I said, I probably won't be streaming for the rest of the week unless there's something to actually talk about. But we do have a lot more coming. We've got more Eve Evolved coming in the next couple of weeks. We've got the presidential election happening this week or next, or sorry, within the next month or two. And, you know, a lot more going on for us to talk about. So please make sure that you like the stream or the video and share it with a friend. So that way people can learn about this channel and get to know and find out that there are people talking about EVE Online, trying to help people learn the game and become better players, because a better player base makes a better EVE Online. That's what we're all here to do. So I do want to give an extra shout out to my top tier supporters, those of you who have gone beyond the Call of Duty, beyond the liking, the commenting, and subscribing, all very nice things, to become a supporter. You can do so for just $1 a month. On either my Patreon or on YouTube, and you get access. If you do it on YouTube, you get access to my emotes and the special member-only channel, and to vote on what content will be next week. Members, keep an eye on that over the weekend. I will be putting up the poll for next week's activities. But of course, I do give my shout out to my top tier, my Immortal tier supporters, the guys who make all of this possible, guys and gals. And that would be 745 MPSI, Arydanika the Queen, Bad Boy Smooth, Ebo Leet, Erladis, Elange, Flash Gordon, Grims, May, Malak Starfire, Malin, Mercuton, Mayak, Michael, Nihilum, LM1, Sheesh, Susuro, Thrans, and Rid. Thank you so much. Still 13.5 million in my hangars, so selling that stuff directly costs you 1.5 million off the theoretical total of 12 million. The problem is that there's already stuff in here that weren't in my cargo bay. So I'm trying not to count those, although I do still have the BPCs, that could be counted. But some of this stuff is not from this adventure, right? Like this isn't, for example, and none of these are. Although I don't know how much of these are the actual value. Let's sort it by. Man, you ruined the end of my stream. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, 4.5 million. Oh, it's the sister probes. Like this is 8 million. That's 11 million of it right there in those 3 items. And none of those were with me during this event. So thank you guys for coming. I've been Ashrothi, the voice of New Eden. Until next time, I will see you in space.